today. So every day we start fresh because we can't affect the past, but we damn sure can make a difference today.
Happy New Year and welcome to episode 74 of Shop Talk. It's Jennifer.
And Gary.
And we're back with a recap of the new episodes 510 and 110. This crossover storyline, I say crossovers in quotes, was good, definitely. I mean, the part of it was, but like the character-wise, it just felt a little off.
Like, yeah, I mean, it was like unbalanced.
Yeah.
I mean, like the rookie half of it was good, and then just kind of
like tapered off.
Feds, yeah, it kind of tapered off with Feds.
And that's how it was like for the last crossover. And I'm like, okay, they're just finding their footing, but also like don't call it a crossover, or at least have another character come in. Like there was one part of Feds where I was like, this would have been like the most opportune time to have another like character from the rookie or something come in. But I mean, Nolan was there in Feds, but it's not even like he was helping out with the case. Like he was there to do construction.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, of course, I was honestly surprised though that we got like as many of the Feds as we did on the rookie, because I literally was just thinking they're just gonna like pull Simone over there for, and I get it, 5 seconds or something.
Yeah, I get it. Like a lot of it's scheduling issues and stuff, but like if you're planning for a crossover, like you would think that they would be making sure to have enough characters in the crossover. I don't know. Yeah. It's interesting.
Well, there was, so Simone and Carter were on the rookie. And then
Laura and Brendan were for a minute too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Lauren, my God, Laura and Brendan. This is what happens when I try to speak too fast. Yeah, they were both on there. Yeah, for a minute. And I mean, we had like that. I mean, well, no, I guess I was just thinking of the like scene where it was like Gray, Angela, Nyla, Carter, Simone, like all of them together. You know, it was like a nice mix. Like I like those scenes. Too.
Yeah, they had that for the last crossover too, because I remember it kind of being like everyone had something to say, like those. But yeah, I don't know, it was good, and the storyline was really good. I found it actually more captivating than the last crossover storyline. But yeah, character wise and just like the actual part of like crossing over just felt a little off, and even like how it bled into Feds kind of seemed a little loose, but maybe it's just because we're like spoiled.
Yeah, well, because like they did that the last time too, like I guess technically last year.
Yeah.
With 508. And okay, I'm thinking of just like the back-to-back rookie episodes, but like we were so focused on like Chenford that like everything else we had to like refocus ourselves, and I kind of felt like that's what it was for this crossover too.
Well, and I feel like Carter took the phones, but then it was it. Like we never had any other like resolution as far as like, okay, now we kind of go over to Feds. Like there was no real like connection there. It was just kind of like, okay, Carter has the phones, now we skip to Chenford, or then Lopez and Nyla, and it was like, okay, that's the end of the rookie episode, now we just like pick up. But yeah, I don't know, maybe it's just because we're spoiled with other crossovers where it doesn't even feel like there's like a break. But yeah, I don't know, it was good, and like it helped a lot the shows being on the same night, I will admit. And kind of being at like the 7:00 hour, like for me, I was just kind of like, okay, this is nice, like I'm not exhausted like after watching one of the shows. Like I was able to work on the outline and everything, so it's nice.
I almost wish I was like Central Time. I mean, not like 8 to 10 is not like late, but just I was like, oh yeah, you guys get 7 to 9, like
but for me I was like, wait, the rookie's on at 7, like because I just kept thinking it was on at 8, and I was like, no, it's definitely on at 7. So yeah, But yeah, other than that, we do have some news. We got episode descriptions for episodes 11. So 511 of The Rookie airs next week, titled The Naked and the Dead. And it's about a search for a missing boy leads the team into the middle of a dangerous drug war between two rival gangs. That is so ominous and not at all what matches the promo photos.
No. I
Like,
mean, we got like
maybe a
rival
few,
groups of
but
kids.
yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, unless
baseball
like
teams.
what if that missing boy is part of the baseball team? You probably just
Literally,
said that.
that's so rude. No. Stop. That's so rude.
I
I'm
mean, I
not even
just thought
thinking
about
that.
it.
No. I just want the kids to be happy and play baseball. That's all I want.
With Tim as their coach.
All I want. I don't even, oh my God. Like, I can't.
What if it's like
Can't.
Tim going undercover as like a baseball coach and Lucy's there? But Jenny
Well, but
wouldn't be
then,
there
yeah, I
then,
was like,
so
Jenny wouldn't, yeah, no. I think that's just the like
B
wish
storyline.
fulfillment coming true for all of us Chenford
Yeah.
fans, and we just like can't believe it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
that it's
probably like the
happening.
B storyline, which will overshadow the main case because yeah, it always does. Yeah. So yeah, the promo photos, I mean, they're just amazing. Everyone's like losing their minds, so yeah.
Mhm.
Do you want to take us through the next episode description?
Yeah, so the next one, obviously for Feds, will air next week. It's called Close Contact. And the description is after a failed assassination attempt involving a bomber, Congressman Damian Roberts hires Garza's team for protective detail, while Brendan and Laura begin investigating potential suspects. Later, Damian and Simone rekindle their romantic relationship, and Brendan advances his relationship with Antoinette. Which is false because they don't have a relationship
Okay, I literally thought
anymore.
that after I watched the episode. I was like,
Like,
what relationship is there?
yeah, I'm like, I mean, unless he keeps trying, in which case, applause for Brendan. Like, you go, dude. But like,
Yeah,
they don't have a relationship. She seemed like just very, very distant from him in like
yeah.
this week's Feds. So I don't even really know. They'd have to like I don't know, almost like restart their friendship or something.
Yeah.
Like it was just very disjointed.
I did like that we saw her more, but yeah, it did
yeah.
feel very disjointed.
Mhm.
And I don't know, it just like reading that episode description after watching the episode, obviously, like reading it before we were like, okay, whatever. But like reading it after the episode, it was like, how though? Like they don't have a relationship. They barely talked in this episode. Like,
well, for like this week's episode, like the description had said, I believe it had said something about, Brendan's thinking of, asking her out or whatever, but finds out she has feelings for someone else. And I'm like, oh, okay. So now, like, do we go off of the exact wording of the episode description?
Right.
Then the someone else's Carter, which is still so weird.
Yeah.
Well, unexpected, I guess.
That was not on my bingo card.
No.
For Feds. It was not.
No.
So then the next piece of news is that Robert Bella shared on Instagram that he's directing episode 17 of Rookie Feds, which he was going to start directing today, which is Wednesday when we're recording this, which is cool. Like, I love that he's going over to Feds too. I just can't believe that they're already on episode 17 for like filming.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they're about 7 episodes ahead, so yeah. Hopefully we don't have any like other hiatuses, but who knows? So yeah.
And last but not least, if you guys aren't on Twitter or Instagram, then you probably wouldn't have seen it, but the Rookie and the Rookie Feds hit I literally can't speak. Hit a ratings high last night. So TV Fanatic had reported that The Rookie drew 4.5 million viewers, which is like an ultimate high for them. And then Feds had managed 3.7 million. So they, and like their ratings, like 0.6 and 0.4 respectively, were like highs for the both of them too.
Yeah.
So like they're doing really good in their demographics, and like the time switches seem to favor them.
Yeah. Yeah, but I also feel like, I mean, given what the episodes had, like at least The Rookie, it was kind of like a no-brainer. I don't know. I mean,
True.
I would like to still think that people just tuned in regardless, like even if you don't like Chenford or whatever. But yeah, I mean, The Rookie has been around long enough where I feel like if one of the shows was going to make that move and have it be successful, it was going to be The Rookie, because like The Rookie fandom shows up.
Yeah.
Whereas like Feds is still, I mean, they've found their footing, but like the fandom is still growing. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I only know a select handful of people that like watch Feds too. They don't just watch The Rookie. So I feel like that was kind of like that one's still growing for the fandom. So it wouldn't have made as much sense, or maybe not have been as successful or something, like if it had moved. So yeah.
Yeah. I guess I was just expecting The Rookie to be in the 10 p.m. time slot
Yeah.
instead of the new. It just, I don't know why my brain automatically thinks that the newer shows should go first. I don't know why my brain thinks like that, but
there were some listener thoughts that agreed, and I mean I do too, because like watching last night after The Rookie, it was like I literally can't pay attention to Feds because I'm just thinking about The Rookie. And I was like, I'm trying my hardest to pay attention. And I was like, there were times when I was like going back to The Rookie and like Chenford and everything. But yeah, it was like, it is definitely hard to pay attention to another show when you've gotten so much good content from the first one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess I would, well, no, okay, let me just say this though. Like, look at Kevin Zegers. Like, that's the reason you need to tune in to Feds. Like,
exactly. Exactly. Last night we got Kevin in a suit, which I mean we usually do because he's FBI. Wesley in a suit,
like,
which like lawyer. And like
so
Timothy Bradford in a suit. Like you literally cannot say that last night was a bad night for TV fans. Yeah. Especially of The Rookie. We got 3 men in suits. I mean, what more could you ask for? So
exactly.
And yeah, like Brensen color coordinating. Oh my gosh. It was, we knew that from like the promo pic or whatever, but like it was still just great to see in HD on like a big TV. So yeah. So with that, we'll get started with the episodes because there's a lot to cover and you guys had a lot of thoughts. So we'll start off with The Rookie first because they were the first show of the night. And we'll kind of start off with the whole bank robbery and Nyla and James of it all. So Nyla and James are at the bank. They were wanting to set up an account to get Leah like ready for college. And James is like, she's 5 months old, like, can't we wait or whatever? And Nyla's like all convinced that she's a genius and she's like, she'll be going to college and she'll get a lot in financial aid. And so James is like, well, you know, we'll talk it over like later. And Nyla's just kind of mumble was gold. Like, I love when she mumbles like that. It's so weird, but I feel like it just like emphasizes her sass. So but they're like sitting just waiting for the banker, and Nyla like kind of stiffens in her chair and she sees a serial bank robber named Todd Shelf. And James is like, well, maybe he's just making a deposit. And Nyla's like, yeah, no, he's not. She's got her cop eyes on, and you know, she just knows that it's not like a normal bank errand. So he's there to like rob the bank. She has James like go through GROUT, which stands for gender, race, over, under, and task. And it's basically used to quickly described suspects in a way that cops will understand. So she has James try it on Todd, and Nyla's like looking around for accomplices and has James continue using grout like on the other accomplice, who we find out is named Roger. And Nyla's like, Todd always has a 3-man crew, but I can't make out the third person yet. Like that's bothering her. So she tells James to like go outside, and he's insistent that he's not leaving her. And she's like, yeah, but I've got this. Like, don't worry about it. And so James starts to walk out. Like, I loved how they did this too. Like, everything started to kind of slow down and go in like slow motion as he's walking outside. He makes eye contact with Todd, who, fun fact, is Fun Bobby from Friends, which I don't know. I just loved seeing that. And so he also walks by Roger, the accomplice. And so James like makes it outside. He's good. Like he kind of runs a little bit further from the bank. And then Nyla goes into the banker's office and warns her to pull the silent alarm. And it turns out that there's a customer in the office with the banker. For a split second, I was like, this is the third accomplice. Like, I don't know why, but I just have a feeling that it is. And so just as she like tells them that, the robbers pull the heist, and like everything's moving fast. Guns are like shooting. The silent alarm is finally triggered. And so we kind of see like, citizens go down, like everything kind of happens really quick. And so the guy who was also in the banker's office, basically calls BS to her calling him for backup. He's like, they're not going to get here in time or whatever. And so he basically just like goes all out, and he's just like walking out there, got a gun in his hand, and he's like, I'm making a citizen's arrest, and just starts shooting. And so there's like citizens who are hurt, like, people are down. The robbers let all of like the hostages out, and they're all on the run, kind of like making a diversion. And so Todd starts shooting at Bradson, who's also like with James at this point. And, Todd ends up getting away. And so John and Celina are like pulling up, and Todd starts shooting at their car. And so then like Todd, we see him get into a like convertible. He gets in the car, speeds off. He leaves Roger behind. But
I thought
Roger
that
ends
was
up
like
getting away.
funny in a way,
Yeah.
because he was like running for the car. It's like, wait. And I'm like, oh, dude, you got left behind.
Yeah. I was like, dude, you might as well just keep on running, because you're not going to make
Yeah.
that car.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Todd's like on the run in a convertible, which like, yeah, it's a nice getaway car and it's fast, but like also it's a convertible. Like,
yeah, don't you want to be like inconspicuous
yeah,
a little bit more? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, you would think. So John and Celina end up finding Todd. They get a trial on him until they end up losing him. So he's in the win still. So Tim and Aaron then like chase Roger on foot. They end up losing him, but like we see them in a neighborhood. Like they get a tail on him too. And so they're kind of like still chasing these guys, but we see Gray and Angela show up to the bank. And, they start going through the scene, meeting up with Nyla, John, Celina, and then Simone and Carter. And Simone and Celina also find out that like they have some things in common. Like this is the first time that they've met, and literally any more of them like right now. So they've got things in common with like Jupiter in their second house, and like, Simone's like, you're so lucky to have John as your TO, like, this is great for you. So Simone like starts talking about her solar return when Carter like pulls her back, because they're very into like astrology and all of that. And so Simone's like, yeah, we found something interesting. There was a wire payment to an alias 2 days ago for $500,000. And Gray's like, well, they were paid to rob the bank. Like usually it's the other way around. And so usually the money comes from the bank robbery, obviously, but Nyla's like, it does explain something that's been bugging me. Like Todd's crew has always went for the cash until this job, when they only hit safety deposit boxes. And so it turns out that they hit 17, and something in at least one of those boxes is worth $500,000. So their job is just to find out what that one really expensive thing is. So we like go back over to Tim and Aaron, and they're walking the neighborhood street. They see a guy who's left from the getaway cars, Roger. They make it a point to get him, but he gets in a car with a hostage, like after he's shooting at them and everything. So Tim calls them for backup. The hostage or the accomplice Roger is like, back off or I'll shoot her. And so Tim just tells Lucy to like cut the sirens, kind of stay back. And he's just like commanding the scene. So we go back over to the scene of the robbery. Simone, Carter, Celina, and John they roll up to the guy who has the safety deposit box that was hit. And so the guy shares what was in the box, and it was a list of federal names. And just as he says that, he's shot in the chest with one bullet and is killed immediately from a sniper.
That was the guy with the goldfish, right?
Yeah.
I was just like, that's all I could focus on. Like, I wasn't even paying. I was just like, why does this man have a goldfish?
And he was like insistent on taking it with him. I'm like, okay. I mean, I guess, but
yeah.
So yeah, so the guy's like shot immediately. They never even like really looked for the sniper. They were just like,
Not
he was
really,
shot by a
no.
sniper.
Yeah.
It was like, great work. But yeah, so while they're waiting for the hostage's phone number and name, because that's what Tim's asked for, Chenford talks about like Tim talking to Aaron, and he's like, yeah, it failed when he brought up like he's not her superior, and it's not as bad of a look. And Lucy's just like, oh, okay. And you could just see like Lucy's face is just like shit. But so then like we go back over to Gray and Carter. They're talking about updates on the case. Gray's asking about Garza, all of that. We need more of these two working together. Like they were top tier, a great partnership. So Angela and Nyla are reviewing the security cam footage, and Angela trusts her that there was a third accomplice, but like no one stands out. Like this third accomplice was not obvious. And Angela's like, they're just hiding in plain sight. So Angela tells Nyla about her conversation with Wesley this morning, or in the morning, because it's to kind of like distract her. And Nyla's like on her side. But they're laughing about it and stuff until Nyla gets called that there was another gun in the bank. Another gun like found in the bank. And Nyla's like, I know who the third accomplice was. It was the woman who got shot and dropped her gun in the potted plant. And so she's coming like from surgery, and she calls Todd and like, says that she hasn't been made yet, but like it's only a matter of time. And so we see Todd like getting in or setting his getaway vehicle on fire while the woman's like on her way out. Like these two are hoping to kind of meet up again. And so she successfully gets out from John and Celina's proximity. And the woman's like, only I know the name of the buyer. Like she's basically the brains behind all of this. So we go back over to the hostage situation, and Tim has created a distraction to get closer to the hostage and the other guy. And so he like ends up crawling underneath the vehicle, like drilling a hole in the floorboard of the car, and he sprays something so that the hostage can get out, and like the guy is kind of, I don't know, just like subdued for a minute. Subdued, but not like not with hands on him or anything. And so Bradson, like they get Roger and everything, that's all good. And Bradson is then like chasing Todd and Amy, which we find out her name in Feds, but we find them like kind of car chasing them, and then they like lose them, and they're up on a roof then looking for them. And the two in the truck are like hiding and everything, and then they end up seeing their chance, and so they almost drive Aaron and Tim off of the roof of a parking garage, which like not nerve-wracking at all.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like teetering on the edge, which like, side note, I really want to know how they did this stunt, because
I feel like Emily from the Rookie rewatch, I don't know if she posted it there, if she posted it on her personal Twitter, but she had reposted that video of Eric and True and who I'm assuming was a crew member doing like that was on the ground filming with their phone pointed up. But like I could see off to the side there were my brain is blanking on the proper term, storyboards, I believe,
Okay.
of the scene that they were doing.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna assume that they somehow filmed it on a smaller screen and like somehow made it
Yeah.
seem like they filmed it on a camera. I don't know, because I don't know how in the world you get that angle other than someone laying on the floor
Yeah.
and pointing it all the way up.
Well, and even like, I mean, even just when they were teetering, like you could kind of see like the scenery and it looked real, but it also didn't, if that makes sense. Like it kind of looked like a green screen or something.
Well, that's
And
what
yeah,
I'm
like you
thinking, like
saw,
they have the shop in one place and then
yeah,
Eric and True kind of.
yeah. Well, and like you saw like their faces like straight on and then also from like an angle, and then you saw them from behind. Like there was just a lot of camera work that went into that. And I really like I want to know more. So Tim tells Aaron to like open the door and climb out of the car, and Aaron's like, with all due respect, if I go first and I leave you, Lucy will kill me. So I'm dead either way. And Aaron's face getting out of the shop was literally me, like as I was watching it. My jaw was dropped and I was like on the edge of my seat. I was like, this has to end well. Like Timothy has to go on another date.
Yeah, their exchange of looks though, they were like, oh God, like this is terrible. This is a terrible situation they're in.
Yeah. So Tim's like, I outrank you, like get out of the shop or whatever. And so Aaron like gets out of the shop. He adds some balance and Tim gets out. And as it falls and like catches on fire, Aaron's like, we don't have to pay for that, right? Like, we're good. And it took me until my second watch to like really process that there were two shops ruined in this episode. And like Nolan was called out, but I also want to see Tim be called out. Even though it's not like a running gag for him in the show, I need to see it.
That'd be funny.
Yeah. I would like to see not Gray call him out, but like Smitty or something. Because Smitty would have something like smart ass to say about it. And Tim would just be like, listen, I don't have time for this. So so then Nolan and Celina like find out that Todd was shot and killed, but the woman wasn't there. And so she's still like in the wind. So Gray and Nyla like hand over the phones that they found to Carter and he takes it from there. So that's kind of where we leave off with the crossover part of it. But not before we finish up like Aaron and Celina's storyline, Chenford's storyline, Lopez's storyline, and Nyla's storyline. There was a lot going on in this episode, but I loved it. So we go over to Nyla and James's house and they're talking about like who would care for Leah if anything was to happen to them. And so they kind of disagree on like who to leave her with. They even like mention their exes. Nyla's like, well, Donovan can't take care of her. And James is like, well, my ex-wife could. And Nyla's like I would let your ex-wife take care of my daughter. Like, no, we're not gonna have that happen. So then we see them show up to Lopez's door and they ask if they can take Leah if something happens to them. And this was like after they had their conversation about like having the second baby or whatever. And so it was just so sweet. And I loved how James was like, you're also the richest people we know. And Wesley's like, oh, I totally get it. Like, you're fine.
Wesley was like so excited, like a little too excited. And I was like, dude, you need to dial it down like 5 notches.
Yeah.
Like
no,
this is
he
not
totally
a Lifetime
was. He was
movie
like,
where like they're gonna steal the baby. Like that's not happening.
He was totally like, oh yeah, like of course we would be like so sad if you guys died, but like we'll totally take care of Leah if something happens. I'm like, Wesley, I feel like he doesn't totally know what to say in situations, and so he just kind of like blurts things out and like kind of puts his foot in his mouth and doesn't realize until like after.
Yeah. I mean, at least in this episode, he was just like all too excited.
Yeah. It was so good though. So yeah, I mean, more of the James and Nyla Lopez friendship and scenes together. Like, please, season 5B, we need it. We need
Yep.
it.
I was gonna say double date, but now they can triple date,
Yes.
even though 2 out of 3 are not, or I mean, 2 out of 3 are married. It's fine. They can
Yeah, but
still
like
triple
that
date.
doesn't matter. Like it could
Yeah,
still
they can
work.
still triple date.
Yeah. So,
So
so we get like a montage of, or so that's where that kind of ends. And then we go over to Chenford, because I mean, like, duh. Honestly, we should have covered them first, but we literally wouldn't get anything else accomplished, so it's fine. We start the episode with a montage of Chenford getting ready for their date and going through their closets and
I
like
called
not
it.
liking anything.
I called it. I called it. I called it. I called it. I was so excited. I was so happy to be right. Oh my gosh.
I literally never knew that I needed this until I did. Like them both hating everything that's in their closets. I love it.
Hmm.
I love it. I also loved this next part. Tim calling Lucy, and she's lying and saying like she's almost there, and he's like, I can see right through it. And he asks her what she's wearing on the date, and like if the restaurant has a dress code. And she's like, yeah, you can be comfortable, like even wear cargo shorts. And he's like, really? And he knows that she's testing him and everything. And he's like, you can't fool the master. And then he's like, we got to go soon because traffic's going to be bad, like it already is. Okay, this whole moment was such a married couple move. Like,
Hmm.
not even married, just like serious, like boyfriend, girlfriend vibes. Like, he's literally asking her what he should wear.
Yeah.
I mean, and also I need to know. So they were talking about traffic. Was he picking her up? Was she meeting him there? Like, was she going over to his place first? Like, I need to know. I need to know everything that happened
I mean, I
that
would
led up
assume
to
he
them
would
getting.
pick her up, but I don't know.
I mean, I would think.
I don't know.
I don't know. It was so good. But like, we saw the shimmery dress that she wore like at Nyla's wedding reception. We saw the dress that she wore on their first like unofficial date that was actually the double date. We
Mhm.
saw the green dress that she wore to Lopez's almost wedding. And the fact that she was like, the green dress it is. I'm gonna wear the green dress. And his smile. When
Yeah.
she said that, I was like, that's it. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. We're not
Hmm.
even 5 minutes into the episode and I'm
Yeah,
already
and then
done.
like 5 seconds later, she's like, nah. Like
Yeah.
she was like, no, I don't want this one either.
It's like she was looking for something new to like remember the date by. She was like, I can't wear any of these old outfits that like we weren't officially dating in.
Yeah, I could
Yeah.
see that.
So I don't know. It was so good. But like I noticed the shimmery dress the first watch, but like and I thought the green one, I was like, is that the green one from the almost wedding? But like surely that's too dressy. Um, but I didn't like totally remember the one from the like double date and everything. So
No, I didn't notice those two either.
yeah,
I didn't like put it together until I think other people on Twitter were talking
yeah,
about it. And I was like, oh, okay. Although
yeah,
I did notice that we were right about Melissa's like 3 second video that
yes,
people were reposting that was even though it's one of the dresses sh she as Lucy like discarded,
yeah,
she was still wearing it for the split second
yep,
that she posted that video. So
yeah. So yeah, I don't know. And then like her okay bye and his like I'll see you soon. They were just so soft and like it's literally everything that I never knew I needed. Like their phone conversations, we need more of that.
mhm.
We truly do. So yeah, it was so good. But then like they're like at the restaurant and it's so awkward. Like they're not really talking. They're making conversation about the bread and Lucy's like, yeah, like it's such a good assortment. And it's just so awkward. And it's like that's so funny because when you go on a first date with someone, it usually is awkward, but that's probably because you don't know them very well, like if you're meeting them off the app. But these
Yeah.
two like literally work together. They
Yeah.
drive together. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so good.
Mhm.
So Tim like asks her again what she ordered, and so she tells him, and he's like, oh, I almost ordered that. And Lucy's response is just like, oh, cool. Like, it's so awkward. So then like she mentions the elephant in the room, and she's like, well, with the awkwardness, and like, you know, she's like, why is it so awkward? Like, we've ate multiple times together. And I'm just like, sorry, what? Like, they've ate multiple times together. We've seen them eat a few times together, but I'm like, how many times did we miss out on? Like,
yeah, I was like, where's this hundreds of times coming from?
Yeah.
I was like, excuse me, ma'am, we have only seen a few.
Like, do they have lunch together every single day?
Yeah.
Do they like go out for drinks after work? Like, I need to know. I need to know this.
Yeah.
I mean, they literally talked more on their double date with Ashley and Chris than they did on this first date.
Yes. Very true.
Yeah. And they weren't even a couple then. It's just, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
So then Matt from like Matt's Inside Line or whatever had kind of like previewed this a few days before or whatever. But he never said like who said it or whatever. And so Tim follows with this line of, our other meals only ever held the promise of being shot at afterwards, not naked time. And I was just like, what? My jaw literally dropped, even though we knew that was coming at some point. And you can tell that he's just like immediately embarrassed by it. And she repeats it. And then she's like, I'm setting boundaries, which, yes, queen.
Yeah.
Yes.
That part I liked a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it was about the prior line. I didn't like that. Even if Tim was the one to say it, it still just was like awkward.
With the naked time mention?
Yeah, it was just I just didn't, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why I can't really explain why I didn't like it. I just wasn't a fan.
So like, I figured the naked timeline, like that they used that because they obviously couldn't like say sex at like 7:00 on TV. Like, I get that.
Oh,
but I was just kind of
I guess I wasn't thinking of it like that. I suppose.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess like for a first date, no matter how much you know each other, like I wouldn't have brought that up. Like, to me, that would be like an immediately like red flag. Like, for a date, I would be like, all right, I'm not seeing you again. Like, we're not pursuing this anymore. But
well, yeah, but for them it's different, I guess.
Yeah.
I didn't know if Tim was like thinking of the 501 moment, like unbeknownst to Lucy that he saw her bare back.
That's what people were saying. They were like, unbeknownst to her, like he's already seen her somewhat naked. I'm like, that's right. Like, he has.
Yeah.
I don't know. I loved where she was not beating around the bush or like sugarcoating things. She was just like, I'm setting these boundaries, and like, you're just gonna have to like readjust your expectations. And like, she could have sugarcoated it and all of that, but like she didn't. And it just reminded me of their first kiss, like the practice one, where she just like went right for it. Like, she's not beating around the bush. She knows what she wants and she's gonna get it. And like, go lay some boundaries. Like, we'd love to see that. So yeah. So then, like, Tim agrees, they move on. And he just kind of like gets a little uncomfortable, and like she figures out that he's worried that they're going to see someone from the district, and he tries to deny it, but like, of course, she knows him better than anyone else. So she's like, no, you are worried. And so I got to know, who would be the first person to see them out in public when they're dating? Like, who do you think it would be?
Oh gosh. I don't even know. Well, I mean, I was gonna say Aaron, but he already kind of know. I just can't think of anyone that like goes out to places like that. Or, I mean, if they do another date like they did on their redo, then maybe Nolan or something. Although I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a good answer.
I guess we just haven't seen people like going out a whole lot to where I could confidently say, but I don't know. I could see if anyone, it would be Gray and Luna, like just because they happen to be there or whatever.
Yeah.
But I also kind of don't want it to be like, I wouldn't want it to be Gray and Luna. I would, for some odd reason, I would love for it to be Smitty. Maybe not even like in that romantic of place, but just like say they're like at the park or something, or like walking around downtown LA. Like, and Smitty just happens to be there. And they're like holding hands, like they're obviously a couple, and Smitty sees them and like calls them out, and then like he's the one that outs them to the district.
Yeah.
But I feel like it would just be like a coincidental that Smitty would be there. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. That's who I would think it would be more like if they're gonna be outed and seen outside of work, I would think it would be Smitty, but I don't know. It would be interesting to see. So
Mhm.
yeah, so then they end up like seeing an argument between the chef and the cook, and like it escalates, there's a knife involved. And did you see Lucy's hand kind of like reach over to Tim when
Mhm.
she saw the knife? I was like, oh my gosh, another little crumb that I love to see. And Tim pulls out his gun, like, but not before the cook cuts the chef. And so the cops are like on their way. And Lucy's like, you think we're gonna be able to keep this a secret now? And then we get the title card, and like the entire cold open was Chenford for 5 minutes. Like, we really got blessed in this
Mhm.
episode.
Nope.
So Chenford's like at the district the next morning. They're standing close to each other talking. Like, if anyone's gonna realize it, it's gonna be when they're like not, they're like subconsciously doing this stuff. And so Lucy's like, can't deny the facts. Like, we were both at the most romantic restaurant and saw the fight happen. Like, it's all in the police report. And for all they know, it's in the witness reports too, that they were like sitting together. And so they're basically like, well, we have to come up with a story for why we were there. And so Lucy's like, well, we could just come clean. And Tim's like, are you ready for Smithy's commentary? Like, or reactions every time that we walk into the roll call room together? And Lucy's like, yeah, you're right about that. And so she shares an idea and says that they could just use that her CI gave her a tip that drugs were coming out of the kitchen, and like she asked him to join her as backup for a soft undercover infiltration, which like it could work. I mean, honestly, like it's doable. And so John like comes up, he's Mr. Oblivious, like has absolutely no idea what's going on. And he's just coming to say like a morning or whatever. And they immediately rattle off the story. And John's like, what? Like, what's going on? I didn't even ask about it or anything.
Nope.
And Gray like breaks up the conversation by knocking on the window. And John like motions to him, but then Gray like points to Chenford, and John's like, peace, like, bye.
Yeah.
And he like zooms out of there. Kind of like he did when he had that grenade in his hand in that cabin. I mean, I'm just
Pretty
saying.
much.
Yeah. So at the end of the episode, like Lucy tells Tim that she's glad he's not dead, but like she owes him a redo on the date. And Tim replies with, it's what gave me the will to live, which I didn't hear that on the first watch.
I didn't hear that, and then I also didn't hear the line after. So
Yeah.
I
And
I heard nothing, apparently.
I was like, I was seeing people tweet it, and I was like, where did they get this from? Like, I don't know. And I watched it again today, and I was like, oh, that's because I was so focused on her saying, I'm glad you didn't die and you owe me a redo on the date, that I was just I totally missed what Tim had said. And so they have another date. Lucy mentions the grandkids. Between the grandkids and the naked time comments, I was like, there is a lot going on here.
Yeah.
Then they like catch a kid breaking into a car, and Tim like he's just not wanting this kid to get in trouble. At least for Tim not to be the one that gets him in trouble or whatever. And so Tim like flashes his badge, the kid runs, and Tim's like basically not wanting to do any work. I saw someone's tweet and they were like, Tim went from only wanting to do work when Ashley was around to not wanting to do work when Lucy's around.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, the man's down bad for her. So basically. Um So then we see Tim like initiate the kiss, and we end there. And someone had tweeted like before, they were like, I really need to see Tim initiate this kiss. Like Lucy's initiated the others, we need to see it with Tim. And it's also important to note that Tim had his hand on Lucy's side, which I also didn't notice on the first watch because I was too busy thinking about the Chenford date and that kiss.
I noticed that only because when they like when the camera angle changed where they were looking out for a second, their legs were pretty much like entangled anyway, because Lucy was sitting kind of on the edge of the chair.
Yeah.
And Tim was farther back in his. So I was like, okay, their legs are already like touching anyway. So I'm like, well, if someone's got to move in, it, would have to be Tim to meet her. So but no, didn't expect the hand like all the way on the thigh there, sir.
I was like, thank you. Thank you for this crumb. So that's about it for Chenford. I mean, there was a lot going on. I honestly didn't think that we would get a whole lot, but I'm glad that we did. And like the complications, I'm glad that they weren't necessarily work related. Like they were, but it was them like catching a case or like catching a crime or whatever. And so it was good to see. So we have a little bit on Lopez because like they're just adorable. Wesley's like trying to figure out how to mention to Angela that they should maybe try to have another baby and give Jack a sibling. And he's like, he sleeps through the night, like maybe we could have another one. And she like laughs about it at first, and it reminded me of when she was laughing about their venue like being seized or whatever by the FBI.
She had the exact same laugh, so I literally thought she was like doing the crying laughing because she was laughing so hard. And I was like, oh, maybe that's just like Alyssa's laugh, which is it's so unique to her though. It was great.
It was my favorite thing ever. And Wesley's just standing there all awkward, like, what do I do?
Yeah.
So she has her reason, so to see, like he's never had a sibling, she had brothers and she had to fight for everything. And he's like, well, maybe we can meet in the middle, but think about it first. And so at the end of the episode, Lopez revisits the conversation and Angela's like, it's off the table for now. But Wesley's like, can we revisit it in 6 months? And Angela's like, yeah, in 2 years though. Like, forget the 6 months. We're waiting 2 more years. Because she's just like in her stride being a detective. Like she's got it and she's worked hard. And like, honestly, I appreciate that. Listen, I love Angela and Lucy setting boundaries for themselves. I love that.
I mean, I just now thought of this. I didn't know if part of it was just because she was pregnant and then the Guatemala thing happened. And so she maybe subconsciously, like, or she doesn't really realize that maybe that could be a potential worry for her. But I don't know. I mean, probably not though. I mean, because she seems pretty well at like peace with everything and like happy in her.
But like they also have all of the Elijah stuff too that's going on.
That's fair.
So like,
damn.
I get it. I don't know. I just after all the Nyla stuff, I saw people tweeting today, like they were tweets from last night, especially M, our good friend M. I was like, don't go there, girly. Like, don't. Please don't. She was like, what if that's setting up for something to happen to Nyla and James? And I was like, no. I mean, I thought the same thing last night when I was watching it, but I was like, no.
I didn't really
have that.
I guess it's just my hope that since they literally got married not even a full year
season ago,
that they wouldn't have something happen to one half or both of them.
When he left her in the bank in this episode, I thought for sure, I was like, she's gonna get hurt and then he's gonna like have to live with that or whatever. But then I was like, the rookie wouldn't do us like that. Like they don't just hurt people for the sake of like drama. So at least not like our favorite character. So I was like, I think we're okay. But yeah, it was like, who knows? But so I don't want anything to happen to Nyla and James, because
Yeah.
not only are they leaving Leah them, but they're leaving James's boys and Lila. Like,
Yeah.
no, protect
Yeah.
them at all costs, please.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that's it for the Lopez stuff. I mean, there wasn't much. I feel like we need an episode focused and featured around Lopez. Like, I feel like they just kind of get like little crumbs, and I'm like, I want more of them, please.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, doesn't necessarily have to be about Elijah and like, I don't know,
Yeah, I was gonna say
killers and stuff, but
happy moments
yeah,
for Lopez.
but last but not least, we have Celina and Aaron, and wow, I don't know, this was just so good.
It was so
I'm honestly the
funny.
biggest shipper of them, so
It
yeah,
was so funny. I mean,
it
like, I
was.
wouldn't mind them too, but I just, oh my God, just individually, the two of them as characters were just riots in this episode.
Yeah.
Which
Oh,
I
I
really
definitely need
like.
more scenes of them together for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, I mean, listen, I remember talking about it in our wish list episode, like that I would ship Celina and Aaron if they
Mhm.
wanted to put them together. Like I totally would. And after this episode, I was like, oh yeah, concrete, like solid, definite shipper of them. But you know, we saw in the sneak peek, Gray's talking to Chenford. He wants them to talk to Aaron and Celina about cooling down. And Tim's talking to Aaron, and so like when asked if she's gonna talk to Celina, Lucy's like, I'll have Nolan do it, like no big deal. Which makes more sense than having Lucy do it, because
Yeah.
I feel like her and Celina have never really talked. So
Well, that and when would they do it if they don't like
yeah.
ride together?
Yeah. So no one's like talking to Celina about Aaron and how it can be tricky dating other cops, and she's like, you're crossing a line. And in my mind, it was like, Celina, he's dated a cop and an FBI agent before. Like, I think
Oh
he
my
knows
God,
what
that's
he's
true. I
talking
forgot about
about.
Jessica.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
So
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. And then he like goes into how her first year like can be overwhelming, and he's not trying to tell her who to date, but he just wants to give her advice and protect her, which like I can respect, but also like I get it, you're her TO, like you're responsible for her life, but like
Right.
not her personal life.
No.
Like who she dates, whether he's a cop or not, like that's none of his business. So Celina's not having it. She's like, you know, it's 2022. Like we've moved on from men in power telling us how to live our lives. Like she is independent woman. Like, you know, she lives by her own rules. And so Celina's like, I couldn't care less about what people say. Like they can say whatever they want. And so no one asks again if they're dating. And she just shuts him down real quick. She's like, it's none of your business. Like, let's move on. So we go over to Aaron and Tim. And Tim, like, he gets right to the point. This dude's like not beating around the bush. And Aaron's just like, this is a personal life free zone. You literally said that yourself. And that's a personal question. And Aaron just diverts the answer and asks why it would matter, like, if they dated. And he reminds Tim that he was once married to a cop.
So true.
I'm sorry. I just loved how Aaron and Celina were talking to two people who had previously dated Lucy, who is also a fellow cop. And I was like, literally, this is the most comical thing I've ever seen.
I mean, like they both previously dated cops, and
one previously dated Lucy, and now one is dating Lucy now. Like it was so good.
Yeah, the irony.
Yeah. It was hilarious.
Slight hypocrisy, a little bit. More on John's part than Tim's, just with how he was coming across it. But you know, seeing Aaron and Celina like roast the hell out of them were
and not know it. Like that was the best part. They had no idea.
Yeah, they were just saying what they felt because they felt like saying it.
Yeah. So then Aaron's like, well, if I was in her chain of command, like I would get it. Like people would wonder if I was making decisions based on our relationship, and then like wonder if she was dating him under duress. And Aaron even adds that one of them would probably have to transfer to a different station. And Tim's face, he's all freaked out. It was so similar to his face in 309 when Lucy was telling him that like she had feelings for him. And Tim's just like short circuiting inside and he's like, what do I do? Like, what do I do with all of this? So Tim like immediately shuts down the conversation. He's just like, forget I asked.
Yeah.
So we go back over to John and Celina. They're like all quiet. She's all quiet in the shop. John's like, I know that you're mad at me or whatever. And he tries to reignite the conversation and just apologize. So she like shuts him down on that. We get to like the end of the episode and Celina and Aaron are walking out together and they come across John and Celina tells Aaron to like just follow her lead. And Aaron's like, wait, what are you talking about? And until she mentions that, like, he's literally in the dark about this. And he's just shocked when she finally says what's like going on. And Aaron's just like, wait, that's what's going on. Like, I don't know. It was funny. And it leads me to some speculation. But yeah, so Celina like tells John that she's been thinking about his warning and John apologizes and Aaron's just like, let's just move on from this. Celina's like, no, I want this all behind us. Like I want it all out and like cleared up. And so she tells him the truth. She's like, we've been playing Dungeons and Dragons together and that's why we're so close. And she's like, but if I wanted to date him, then I would. And she's like, and maybe I will. And so she like turns to him and she like asks him out. She's like, do you want to go out tonight? And his face is just shocked. He's caught off guard and he's just like, you do realize that I'm a Scorpio, right? And that's a deal breaker for her. And she just like walks off and Aaron and John are like left alone. And I'm just like, okay, I just have so many thoughts about this. But I don't know. For a split second, when John was like talking to Celina about dating another cop, I was like, this is how everyone's gonna find out about John and Lucy. Like, this is how.
I still just need to know if Tim knows. I don't even really care if anyone else knows. I just need to know if Tim knows.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so I don't know. After watching that final scene with Aaron and Celina, it just kind of made me think these things even more. Like, I was like, okay, if they're not dating, then why not have at least one of them fess up to it? Like, one of them at least say, no, we're not dating. Even I don't care if it was Aaron or Celina, but like, because even at the end, Aaron seemed caught off guard with what kind of game they were playing. And I mean, I get it, like it's no one's business and stuff, and like, whatever. If they're dating, they're not dating, like, it is what it is. But like, to me, it's a possibility. They didn't deny it. Aaron seemed caught off guard, like, by her asking him on a date, all of that. And so I'm just kind of like, why not confess? Like, what if they're what if they're the couple that's sneaking around? Like, what if Chenford gets outed by like 5:12 or whatever? And then we like cut to Aaron and Celina like sneaking around. And we were played the entire time by thinking that we were going to get Chenford sneaking around. I don't think that it was Gray messing with them because
no,
like it wouldn't have made sense for him to ask Lucy. But like, I don't know. I guess John would have been involved anyway because he's her TO. So,
yeah, I don't know. I can't really see them dating unless Celina miraculously gets over her whole horoscope thing or zodiac sign thing, because if Aaron's a Scorpio, she can't date a Scorpio. Like, she just seems very in tune with all that. And so I don't know.
I was gonna say though, like she could have just been saying that to like keep up the ploy, but there's no way that like, I don't know, like how would they've known that? I don't know. I just like, I have so many questions and I had so many more coherent thoughts last night about it. And I like tried to note them down, but I'm just like make it make sense here. I don't know. People
they
also
said the Dungeons and Dragons thing, so I feel like they just are bonding over.
I don't know. I also feel like
gaming.
that's a cover.
Oh, You don't think it's like
I don't know.
legit?
I'm just looking for ways to ship them. And I'm just, because she was like, we get close in the heat of the battle or whatever. And one of them had said like, oh, it's only a couple times a week or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, this could very well be a cover for like, you guys are like hooking up or like grabbing dinner together or whatever. Like, it could very well be a cover. And I don't know. She does seem very in tune to her astrology. So like, maybe she wouldn't. But I also could see her like, if she really liked him, throwing that part at least like out the window. I don't know. People were then also wondering, they were like, Celina and Aaron have never had like a scene together and they don't spend like 12 hours a day. But I was like, yeah, but they don't have to spend 12 hours a day together. Like they could meet in the locker room, they could meet in the roll call room and like hit it off there before they like leave for the day.
Yeah, I don't
know.
No, I don't know. But
I'm
yeah,
just
I guess I'm the
honestly looking for
opposite.
ways.
I mean, I will be fine with whatever direction they go in, but I'm not gonna be
Like upset if they don't.
yeah, like I'm not gonna have like many emotions about if they just are platonic and we actually do get scenes with them and they're just friend scenes. That's totally fine.
I don't know. I totally like, I was just looking for ways. I'm like, this could all be a cover. Like this all could be, but
that just did not even cross my mind. So we'll have to see how it plays out because we're like on opposite sides of the fence here.
I would be okay if they were to date. That could mean Celina could stick around though. I mean, I guess not
That's
totally
true.
because we've seen that happen with Jackson where it was like, oh, Sterling could stick around and he didn't. Like Gino
That's
could,
true.
all of that. But I don't know. I'm honestly just, I don't know. I kind of need another couple. Like Chenford's canon, that's great. Like I love that. But I kind of need another couple that it's like the will they, won't they? And if that's Thorsten and Celina, I'm here. Like I'm already the ship captain. I'm here for it.
You heard it here first, guys.
Yeah. So yeah. But that's about it for the rookie episode. We've got a bunch of listener thoughts. So yeah. Do you want to take the first one?
Sure. So is it Mish?
Yeah.
Yeah. Had said they wanted to hear our thoughts on whether or not we think Aaron knows there's something between Tim and Lucy because of his comments. I mean, I think I just don't I just can't see him. Well,
I feel like he's very
I
in
don't know.
tune to what people say and do.
Yeah, I feel like if he were to I feel like if he were to out them, though, it would be by pure accident.
Yeah. Well, I also feel like he's like the new guy to come in. Like besides Celina, he's the new guy. Like whereas Angela, Nyla, John, like they all just think that that's normal for Lucy and Tim, like to be that way with each other, that they don't think that it's odd. Whereas I feel like Aaron would. And so yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm with you. Like I feel like if he was to out them, it would be by pure accident. But I don't know. I also see him outing them more so than like Angela, even though I want it to be Angela. But just because it seems like Tim and Angela haven't really talked much since like the beginning of season 5. And I feel like with Aaron working so closely with Tim, like it's bound to slip up. And if it's not from Aaron, it's going to be Tim saying something like, oh, I went out with Lucy last night or whatever. I don't know. But I feel like Aaron, if it would be anyone, it would be Aaron. Like I want it to be Angela and Tamara, but I feel like it would be, I don't know.
I forgot about Tamara because Dylan hasn't been on the show for so long. I miss her. I mean, not so long, but just, I mean, for quite a few episodes lately.
I would be here though for Angela and Tamara, like giving them shit. But I think as far as calling them out, it would be Aaron.
I could just see it as something if Tim happened to be running late one day or something and Aaron's like, sir, you never like are late. What went on? And then he's just like mindlessly doing something and he's like, oh well, I was at Lucy's and then I did it, and then he like stops mid-sentence and is like,
Yeah.
oh shit.
Yeah.
Like I've said that.
Yeah. I see Tim just kind of outing them by accident, and he doesn't really think about it until Aaron's like, wait, you were what now? And Tim's like, oh shit. Like,
Yeah, although
yeah.
Lucy's pretty talkative though.
Yeah.
Like when she gets a little bit flustered, she kind of can be a little
Yeah.
fidgety and say just random things. Because I don't know, I feel like she kind of would think about it a little more, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Because
for
Tim
sure.
just kind of, he's more of a, well, okay, I guess he did say he's more of a show you kind of guy, like
Yeah.
in season 1. So, I mean, he just kind of just does rather than thinks through things
Yeah.
at times. So,
Yeah. So, Heather, which if you guys aren't following her on Twitter, you really should. She tweets out some of the best things. Some of them are
oh,
like
just like
really
Heather,
thirsty.
Heather.
Yeah.
Oh my
Like
God.
Heather Elf. Yeah. On Twitter. If you're not following
Hilarious.
her, go follow her. She is amazing. But she had commented and was like, you guys, I'm so sorry. I'm just at a loss for words right now. This is the best thing I've ever seen. It's like Archive of Your Own, and the rookie got married and had a baby called 510.
So true.
I love it. I
Yeah.
literally love it. I mean, there were parts during Feds last night that I was like, I don't even know what's going on because I'm just solely focusing on Chenford, and like they were taking up the most space in my brain. Like, yeah, no, I can't focus on anything else. And then when I saw Brendan like get, his feelings hurt and everything, I was like, oh, I'm back. I'm back. So
Riley had said that last night's episode was the best episode yet, from Lucy and Tim trying to hide their relationship to the third bank robber getting absolutely wrecked, quote unquote, by the truck.
that's right.
To James and Nyla asking Lopez to raise Leah if something were to happen to them. And then the first real Chenford kiss. It just keeps giving. So true.
Yeah. That's right. I totally forgot that the girl like got completely like Regina Georged.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Was not expecting that. I feel like they
Nope.
could have led her over into Feds though. Like, but I mean they also had like the mysterious call or whatever. But
I
yeah,
mean, they did like lead her into Feds with that. Just it wasn't very. It was at the very beginning, like
yeah.
the first 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I
I
totally
mean,
forgot about her getting absolutely wrecked.
yeah.
Mama Chief had said, can we talk about how both Lucy and Tim used the word naked, and that word is in the next episode title? I have a feeling though that it has nothing to do with that.
Yeah,
But maybe.
because
Yeah.
usually I can kind of see where they're coming from, but this one I really can't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah. I usually can't until like we see the episode sometimes, or we get like halfway through the episode and I'm like, that's where the episode title comes from. Unless it's like explicitly stated in the episode description. So
mhm,
yeah.
yeah. Nikki had said they literally gave us everything we could have wanted and more. It was perfection from start to finish, but nothing was more perfect than seeing how happy Tim and Lucy were. That first real kiss was both soft and dreamy, exactly what they deserved. So
Yes.
true.
I mean, we literally got Chenford, we got Lopez, we got Nyla, like we literally got everything. So yeah, it was good. SWT on Twitter had said Judy again doing a great job with that makeup and covering Melissa's tattoo. Yes, we love Judy on this podcast.
Oh, right. She has a I
back
forgot
tattoo.
Melissa has it. Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
okay, I was thinking about this last night when I was rewatching the episode the first time. Melissa or Lucy is wearing a lot of like backless dresses.
Mhm.
Like all of her dresses that we know of have been backless. Well, maybe besides the green one. That
or have a
has to
lower
take,
cut back anyway.
yeah. That has to
Yeah.
take a lot of makeup, a lot of time in the makeup chair to like cover that tattoo.
Mhm.
Which like love to see it.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
Yeah, the makeup was so good. I just
Yes.
because Because didn't Melissa say Judy was on Twitter somewhere, like lurking or
Yeah,
whatever?
but yeah. And then I
I
thought that
just
they were
want I
kind of
just
like
want to
joking
know
about
the
it.
products because I'm such a
Yes.
makeup fanatic. Like, because she was just so like it just everything worked so well. Just the
Yeah.
vibe was all romantic and it was just so good.
Yeah.
So yes, I agree. Yeah. So Barbara had said, I really loved the hashtag Chenford moments of episode 10 and their kiss at the end.
Same.
Seems to be the consensus.
Yeah.
A Chenford consensus.
Seems to be all that anyone can ever think about.
Mm-hmm.
Which I love that for us. So Bonnie had said, Holy Mother of Chenford, the rookie was literally perfect. Tim initiating that kiss was gold, and the cold open with them choosing what to wear was amazing. However, it irritates me that they call it a crossover, and it's basically a cameo of one character on the other show. Same. But I feel like, and I said this the last time, I feel like they're just trying to find their footing with the crossovers.
Yeah.
So, because I mean, I remember like going back to the one Chicago shows, the first few crossovers that they had, I mean,
They had
up
like
until
2 or
like the
3.
one right before the pandemic,
Yeah.
they were kind of like all over the place. And I remember thinking, like, yes, this is a crossover, but it's not like going to the full effect as it could be. And then they had the really great one like before the pandemic, and then they've never had one since. So,
Literally, I can't even talk about it.
they need another one. But, you know, that's for another
But it'd be
podcast.
without Jay Halstead, and that would make me sad. So
And without Chief Evan Hawkins. And like, I don't know if I'm emotionally capable for
and
that.
literally
So
half the people from Med are gone,
yeah.
so I can't stand it. Anyway.
Yeah. I just the rookie is definitely my safe show this year.
Mm-hmm.
For
Same.
sure. So
Yeah. But I mean the rookie was better at having more characters come over from Feds, even if it was just for a minute, than poor Feds was with just not that there's nothing wrong with Nathan Fillion.
right.
But like just having John, and then like you said, not in the capacity of him helping with the case, just kind of was like a little random.
Yeah. There was one moment where I was like, this could have been perfect for like literally anyone else to like show up in Feds, like whether it was Celina, Aaron, like it was backup. And I was like, they missed the chance there. But I mean, like I said, I feel like it's probably just scheduling issues, but you got to figure that they're probably filming the same episode number, like both 10. So if it's supposed to be a crossover, why not have one like someone else crossover too? Yeah, it was kind of odd, but I feel like they only had Nathan crossover because he's like the creators of the shows. Which I don't want to think that, and I don't want to say that, but like it could very well be true. I don't know. I really don't know anything. So
well, and he's I wouldn't actually know this. I don't know if all of the creators are on set at different times, like on Feds, for example, or not, or how that all works either.
Yeah.
With scheduling. So but yeah, I can understand where people are coming from, because even before it was airing, people were like on a scale of 1 to no, like how how likely is it that it's actually going to be a crossover?
Especially like for how much they hype it up and like promote it. I'm like, it's not a crossover.
Like the tweet then 5 times in a row. Even though I know they didn't mean to do that, it was absolutely hilarious because they left it up for like a good, I don't know, 4 hours or something.
Yeah. I saw it in my notifications and I was like, is this a glitch or is this like my Twitter or like what's going on here?
Yeah.
And then I saw that other people were saying that and I was like, okay, so it's not just a glitch then.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
so Laura had said, OMG, I literally don't even know where to start, but the 2-ish Chenford dates we got were Chef's Kiss and times 1,000, and all of their scenes in general were fantastic. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, she used the ship name that we have for James and Nyla.
Yes.
Yay, love that. So she had also said, Jayla picking Lopez to be Leah's godparents and the whole Aaron and Celina situation made for an amazing episode.
Yes.
So true.
Can we just talk about how the rookie account, they like posted the who's giving a New Year's kiss or whatever, and
Mhm.
literally no one else had a ship name besides Chenford.
Right? And I was like, well, because like Sean and Alyssa had asked fans, I mean, granted, it's been a few years by now, but like what to name them,
Yeah.
because they were like, Westlow, Wepa, like all
Yeah.
these random things, and finally was Lopez. So,
But like, so the fans have coined Balin. We've kind of coined Jayla, but not, I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's still a better one that should be out there, but like, who knows?
did we not coin Balin? No,
I thought that we did.
did we? Okay.
We might have.
I
I
mean,
don't
I'm
know.
pretty
I don't know.
sure we coined Brolin for sure.
We did. We did, because I remember exactly where I was sitting when I came up with that. We
And
coined Bradson, didn't we? Or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I've coined Thorlina. Like,
Mhm.
I'm just saying that right now. But I mean, I did see people say like Thor Celina or whatever, and like that's cute too. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I loved how like the rookie account, it was like Chenford was the last slide or whatever. And Chenford was the only ship name that they had. I was like, all
Yeah.
right. I mean, just look at the fandom. We've got all kinds of ship names for you. Platonic, romantic, literally everything.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
Paige had said, I'm fine. Totally fine. Not spiraling at all about the naked time comment, real kiss comment, or grandkids comment. Also not freaking out over Simone and Celina being kindred spirits or the fact that Aaron and Celina are total nerds. Yep, totally fine. Internally, I might be screaming. When I saw her comment, I was totally thinking of the Ross gift from Friends when he's like, I'm fine, totally fine.
Oh,
I don't know why
yeah.
my voice is so high pitched.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I mean, that's literally how I was. I was like, oh, so it was real. Like, Chenford had a date and their
Mhm.
first, like, official kiss. So,
Mhm.
yeah, cool.
Yep. So Megan had said, I loved 510. It was really good, mainly with the Chenford content. I thought it was nice that they showed the dress Lucy wore in 412 for a second. Also, the one she wore to Lopez's almost wedding and both their dates. She also loved when Tim said the naked time comment, and then when Lucy briefly mentioned grandkids, and they immediately started manifesting. I mean, I'm sure, Megan, you are not the only one that started manifesting.
Yes.
And Megan was overjoyed they got their first kiss. She also thought Lopez storyline was good too, and thought it was nice that Nyla and James wanted them to be baby Leah's legal guardian. Though
Yes.
she hopes it never comes to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Yep.
Yeah. It was so good. This entire episode, just from start to end, it was like fan fiction come to life, pretty much. So, Blessed Turtle had said Alexi and Terrence Winter really need to stop calling these things crossovers because they aren't. At least they aren't full ones. This one was a little better than the last, but it's still not enough. I agree. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, it could just be because I've been spoiled by like the one Chicago ones that are like 3-hour movies. And I would have to go back and watch the 911 crossover because that one, like, they're not even in the same city, like those two shows. So I would have to go back and watch that to see. But I remember watching it the first time and thinking it was pretty good. So I don't know. I feel like it just kind of, I mean, even like the SVU ones are good. So I feel like they're probably just finding their footing. But they also said that Harper and James got some much needed screen time, and I couldn't be happier. Although I was a little scared when everything went slow-mo when he was leaving the bank, I thought he was going to get shot, but thank goodness that he didn't. They also said next up we have Lopez discussing having another kid. Both had some good points for and against having more kids, but it was a much more amicable conclusion than what I was expecting, which is nice. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really know the conclusion that I was expecting, but I figured that it wouldn't end with them like fighting or like him threatening to like walk out or anything. Like I knew that they would be fine. And they love that Nyla and Angela are so close now, and that they can that Nyla trusts her to look after Leah if something was to happen to her and James. And plus the fact that Wesley is loaded doesn't hurt either. Yeah. They also said we also have Chenford. They were so nervous on that first date, they couldn't stop giggling the entire time. And they said, who does Lucy think she's kidding with the whole taking it slow thing? She's gonna climb that man like a tree the first chance she gets. I'll genuinely be impressed if they make it to 514 without anything happening. They're so bad at lying, though. Their whole UC story almost fell apart, and Captain Oblivious, Nolan, wasn't even trying. Yeah, like to get anything out of them. And they said Lopez is gonna clock them so easily, and I can't wait to see the relentless mocking from her and Tamara once this gets out. And what a way to close out the episode.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, no one was just like standing there, and he was just like, I don't even know what you guys are talking about. Like, it was just funny. Blessed Turtle also said, from them ignoring the whole power dynamic thing that Thorson and Gray correctly pointed out, and still going on another date because they are absolutely smitten, to Lucy mentioning grandkids, and Tim prioritizing their date over arresting the carjacker, to their first official kiss, was perfection. No notes on that. Yeah. I mean, it was just everything from point A to point D was great. And they also said Thorson's line about Lucy killing him if he was to let Tim die was also pretty funny too. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It was good.
Mhm. Holly had said, I really need the rookie and the rookie feds to switch time slots because paying attention to feds was really difficult after everything that had happened last night. I just, like I said, well, way earlier now, it's been a little while, about newer shows being first. Even, I mean, because Feds is still the newer show out of the two. So, yes, I could understand that. Holly had said for the rookie, to put it simply, Chenford was perfect. She loved how everything went from the opening and both of them nervously getting ready at home to the absolute awkwardness of the first date to end with the casual date that was completely them. Holly loves how naturally and organically everything is played out for their relationship and nothing feels forced or out of character. Yeah, definitely true. And she said also round of applause to Lucy for clearly stating boundaries early on and Tim being completely accepting. Not that I ever expected any other reaction. Yeah, he was like, I agree. And like simple as that. Holly had said about Angela, Wesley, and Nyla and James that these four are just so enjoyable to watch. She enjoys that they're all in similar spaces as far as kids and family go. And Nyla and James asking Angela and Wesley to take Leah was the best outcome.
Yes. You know what I love about this show? And we can't even really speak to Feds at this point because like we don't fully know what the relationships or whatever, but all of the people who are in relationships, all of the characters, for the most part, it's a lot of the women calling the shots in the relationships. Like, not to say that the men don't too, but like Lucy was the one setting boundaries. Nyla's like, Leah's going to college, you know, if I have to like force it or whatever. Angela's like, we're not having kids for another 2 years or whatever. Like, all of the women were calling the shots and the guys were like pretty much okay with it. But I like how it doesn't always happen that way too. Like, they'll talk it out or whatever. I mean, even Celina kind of like calling the shots with Nolan of like, you're not going to get in my personal life. Like, this is a private matter or whatever. Like, strong women on these shows. There are strong women, female characters on this show, and I love that. So, but yeah, I agree with the time slot. But I also feel like, because I get this way with other shows too, and I feel like if there's something big that happens in the episode, it's kind of like if there's a following episode, I'm like, yeah, like I'm gonna have to rewatch this one later. But I also feel like that's not just the case for this season, because I feel like Chenford's only gonna get better in season 5. So yeah, it's gonna be hard to pay attention, maybe. But any other notes on the rookie? I don't, I
No.
mean, I don't know what else there is to say besides Chenford is canon and they are dating. So
Yep.
yeah. Now we'll move on to the rookie feds though, because this was a good episode. I thought that this was one of their stronger episodes, like all season. So, but I mean, they've had good episodes. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So this one is called The Silent Prisoner, and we'll start off with the continuation, I guess, about the with the phones and everything. They're dealing with the FBI agent list part that was in the promo and everything. Obviously with Garza out of commission for right now, someone had to like step up to the plate and lead the task force, and Tracy announced that that was going to be Carter since he was the most senior agent. And so the hacker had got away with the list of names. That was Amy from the earlier episode. And so she's obviously very dangerous since she had already murdered one of her robbery partners. And so they had gotten a lead off of Clip Talk and tried to pick up Amy, but they had a shootout ensue. And then when they chased her outside, she was hit by the truck. So that just like went from bad to worse, basically. And since her backpack didn't have the list in it, Simone figures that Amy had already sold it off to the buyer because she was walking around with piles of cash in the bag instead. And so that leads John to mention Roger, and he's still in the hospital. So Brendan and Laura are sent over to interrogate him. And like Brensen interrogating Roger was just like so funny to me, just because he was like, wait, I have a deal with the LAPD, and they're like, yeah, but now your crimes are federal, so you have to deal with us. And he like he just wasn't having it. He's like, no, wait, but, and they're like, no, this is what's happening now. And so he ended up telling them that the exchange was supposed to happen last night at a warehouse, but he doesn't know the guy's name. And so when Carter and Simone are checking out the warehouse from the earlier mention, a phone rings and Simone's like, should I answer it? And Carter just gives her I don't know what the heck it was, like a glove or some kind of something to like touch the phone without leaving a print, I assume. And we still don't know the person's name next. He doesn't give anything like any information away about himself. He just gives them the same demand a few times of releasing prisoner 43602, or else he will release undercover names every day at 10 a.m. And so they realize that even though, I mean, they go back, they all reconvene. Brendan, obviously, he wants to pull all the UCs out now, but Carter's like, no, it's a bad idea. I liked I don't really know, I'm calling it like metaphoric imagery of they're not planets, they're suns. An abrupt extraction like endangers everyone in their orbit.
Okay.
So I don't know. I just like that. Because I mean, it's true. It's like there are a lot of pieces in play with any kind of undercover operation. And so even though I know Brendan is coming from a good place, I don't think he, because he's like a newbie. And so he's like just thinking of the right now as opposed to the bigger picture. And so prisoner 43602 is like the silent prisoner. He originally won't talk because of like what he's seen and what he's been through. He's, used as a soldier and in Colombia. And although, Simone with her with her magic ways, convinces Carter to let her like take a run at him to get him to open up, and tries to ask if he knows anyone that would be willing to kill a lot of people like the agents in order to get him released. And he finally cracks and is like, well, but I want to stay in prison. I'm safe here. And so the first agent's name had already been released, despite that, because they didn't follow through with their end of the bargain.
Yeah.
And so sadly that agent was Jason. And like intercut with these scenes of them trying to figure out, they'd had like the heist crew, or like just supposed to be a drug crew, that Jason was undercover as a part of. And so they got a text that basically said that he's an agent, he's not who you think he is. And so that led to them chasing him and sadly stabbing him. And like they had gotten to him, and like Brendan was the first one on the scene, having to like hold the wound. But while he was there, Jason unfortunately bled out. And so it was like Brendan's first like death scene, or like on the job. And so obviously he was very emotionally distraught over it.
Shook up by it. Yeah. For sure.
Mm-hmm. And they had the sad music and just Kevin's performance was great. And I wish he had Twitter so I could have tagged him, because I'm not on Instagram as much as I am Twitter.
Yeah.
When it comes to like stories and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So but
it broke me. Like seeing him all like sad and hurt like that. I was like, oh my God, this hurts. This hurts so much.
Yeah. And obviously, so Brendan's running high on emotion. And when they had picked up one of the guys, he was kind of laughing about it, about how they're, asking questions when he's claiming it was self-defense. And, even though they have the literal bloody knife in a bag, that doesn't mean anything. And so that angered Brendan, and Laura had to push him back when he wanted to confront the guy. Like I said, I understood like he was angry and upset. I was just glad he had people to help keep him focused so he didn't go completely off the rails.
Yeah.
Especially since I just now thought of this, though. I mean, not that a relapse would have been something he would do, because I don't know. We don't really know enough about his sobriety, but I mean that, always could be, with any type of addiction, like a trigger.
I legit thought the same thing. I was like, oh my God, this is gonna send him down a bad spiral.
Yeah.
Especially when Carter was like, why don't you go home? I was like, no, that's the last place that he needs to be right now. Like, we don't know like how, long he's been in recovery or whatever, but like,
I mean, he said
anything
like
can set you off.
200 some days, I think, or something. But we don't because obviously his dad is not a source of support. His dad is a source of stress. And so if he doesn't, have like a lot of people, then it's like, that doesn't make for a good thing either when it comes to having that kind of like addiction.
So. Oh my God, it hurt seeing Brendan so like torn up about this, and then just like continuing a rough episode for him. I was like, this is painful.
And so even though Carter told everyone, he's like, go home, like we're done here for now. And obviously Brendan did not go home. He stayed late at the office to track down the text that got Jason killed. And this is where we got the Brensen banter of, what are you still doing here? And he's like, you're still here. And Laura's, don't talk back to your training agent.
Mhm.
So at least we got that little bit of levity in there. He did end up sharing that he found out that the burner phone was picked up by LAPD, and a jewelry store like nearby has footage of the person so they can know who dumped it. And I thought it was good. We got the no personal space thing. I mean, I get it. They're looking at security footage. They got to be
Yeah.
close to each other, look at the monitor. But, let me live, guys. Let me live.
Yeah.
I'm in my Brensen bubble. Okay.
Literally same.
Yeah. Um, and so we cut over to Carter and Simone. They're talking to Jorge Pena. This is the man they accuse of stealing the list, but then they kind of backtrack and they're like, oh, that doesn't match the guy on the phone. So he doesn't have the list, but he works for the man who does. And when they had asked why he would go through with all this insanity and detriment, he had said that he was a soldier too, so he was tasked with cleaning up the loose ends. And so I get where the title comes from, because it's the silent, the prisoner, the silent
Right.
prisoner, supposedly, who doesn't talk. But then just the fact that we had to wait till about like 3/4 of the way through to find out his name, though, I was like,
Yeah.
seriously, we gotta,
Yeah.
I can't, like, I wanted to just know him by something other than a number, but I wanted to know it sooner
Yeah.
rather
Same.
than later. But we do find out that his name's Raul, and he is Cesar's brother. And so they did some digging, and because that's what Jorge told them was who is behind all of it, was Cesar. And Cesar had sent Raul here to make an arms deal, from Colombia to the United States, to make an arms deal to make sure that the war in their country continued on. And so Carter and Simone go to Tracy with this crazy idea to let them walk with the money as bait to catch Cesar, because Raul had given them the name of the arms dealer, and Brendan and Laura were working on tracking them down. And so, I understood Tracy's hesitation, but then at the same time, how do I put this? I thought Carter was in charge, I was like, why can't he just take it and run with it,
Yeah.
because he seemed slightly more receptive to Simone in this episode, just kind of letting her do her thing to get the job done. Yeah, so whatever. I'm just not a fan. I'm just not a fan of Tracy.
Yeah.
Courtney Ford does a great job. But yeah, I'm not a fan of her character. I'm still I just can't. I can't. So, but she reluctantly lets them go ahead with it. And so they show a 2-second scene of the arms dealer setting things up, and okay, we got the weapons, we can go ahead with the exchange, and it's like, nope, just kidding, here comes the cops. And so Cesar is arrested, and I loved how Simone, when she was talking to him, she's like, it's not my fault we're better at our jobs than you are. These guys were really not the criminal masterminds that they needed to be to pull one over on the feds. So yeah, I thought that was a nice kind of wrap up for that part. But what wasn't nice, though, was the fact that Jason's not going to get a traditional burial.
I know.
Most of the agents.
Yeah.
Because Laura was explaining to Brendan and Simone towards the end of the episode that since he was an undercover agent, there still could be assets out there and people who would be at risk or still in play for the operations that they have. So,
it makes sense, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should get a proper burial.
Yeah. It's not fair.
Yeah.
And so when she was like, yeah, no, it sucks, but that's a job. Like, I get it. I don't know, but I was glad that like she and Brendan kind of went back and forth a little bit, like on that pitfall of being an undercover FBI agent, I guess. Because it was nice to just see, because obviously Brendan was still upset over everything, and she was just kind of like, here's how it is. Yeah, no, it does. It's pretty bad, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was kind of it for the continuation part with the list and everything. Poor Brendan, though, did not catch a break in the romantic department either, because with his storyline with Antoinette, like, this is just not his episode to make moves on her. Like, it just didn't work.
Yeah.
Like, nothing worked. Absolutely nothing. Because he tried to make small talk at the crime scene, which I get it, but no. Didn't work. And like Laura, oh my God, I just loved Brit's expressions on her face the whole entire, like every single time. It was so funny to me. Because she's just like standing there, like there's nowhere else to go because they're on the scene where the body was.
Yeah.
And so it's not like she could just go over and start talking to someone else, but it was just so awkward, but it was funny at the same time. Yeah, so that's one strike for him. And then so obviously after he's asking Laura about, what what do you think about me and Antoinette? And she's like, what? She's like, why are you asking? Like, have you never asked someone out before? And he's like, no, I have, but just because of his celebrity background.
Yeah.
He's never really known if someone likes him for him and not for his fame. He's just not as someone out in this professional capacity, like not being a celebrity, as being an agent.
And the way that she was like giving him shit about it, I was like, this is
so
on brand for Brensen.
It was so good because she's like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, I don't blame her though for being like, never say that again about the reference to celebrities being social lubricant. I was like, no. I
was like between that and the naked time comment, I was like, all right, you guys are a little much here.
Yeah, I was like, what is going on? So I didn't blame her for that. And I mean, I get that Brendan, like the second time anyway, that he tries to like actually get ready to ask her out, he's still like his emotions are still running high because it's right after the Jason thing. And I was like, oh, okay, he can do it. I mean, it's a little awkward when he's still very emotional. But he seemed pretty like kind of level-headed, at least in talking to her at first. Then he got interrupted with, well, I mean, it was just the elevator. And Carter's like leaving, and he was just awkward though after that though, because he was like, do you need the elevator? And Brendan just like stands there, and I'm like, dude, either get on the elevator or just like walk away.
Yeah.
I don't know. And so cut to the next time, because it's just like we see the elevator close, we don't really see anything more of Carter and Antoinette. Cut to the next time he sees her though, she's chatting with Carter, which leads him to wonder if there's something going on between them. And he's like, well, because like we've been out on coffee dates, but I didn't, he's just like trying to figure it out and kind of like talk himself through it. And then Laura's like, well, everyone drinks coffee, and Carter's got big brother energy like that, you don't have to worry about it. So that kind of puts him at ease for a little bit. And so towards the end of the episode, it's after Simone leaves, after he had apologized for kind of taking it out on her, like when she had asked if he was okay with things after Jason, and he was kind of a little snippy with her. So after she leaves, he's chatting with Laura again for a little bit, and he's like, life's too short not to tell people how you feel. Like he's kind of coming to this realization. So he's gonna go tell Antoinette that he likes her, and he's so like just sunshine and happy, and I was like, you go, Brendan. Like, I was so happy for him. But yeah, he's too late.
Yeah.
Like, poor guy's literally standing on the opposite side of the glass watching Antoinette chat with Carter, and like there's like laughing going on, there's like subtle, you know, touches, like they're engaging in conversation, and they do appear to like leave the lab together, so
Yeah.
you know. And then
I
Laura
also
just, oh my
yeah,
God,
you're gonna
it's
get
just
to it
so
now.
funny. Yeah, because like Laura comes out and she's like, even big brothers have to drink coffee, and I'm like, girl, that is not helpful, but
I
also it was
love
hilarious.
I love her bluntness.
Yeah,
Like, it's literally my favorite thing ever. She gives no F's. That's
no,
literally what it is. She
no,
literally does not care, and she's like gonna tell you exactly how it is.
yeah.
I
I
love
just,
that.
oh my gosh, just everything about them. I think I just, like I said, I think I just love Kevin and Britt working together so much that like
Yeah.
anything they do is just peak excellence for me. But yeah, just especially because she just, like you said, she just tells it like it is, not
Yeah.
being like she cares, but it's just she's like,
Yeah.
no, like I was right. Like you should have, you know.
Yeah.
But in this case, she was not right, but she still just wants to say the last, like have the last word,
Right.
even if she wasn't right.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I know that we obviously want them to get together, like as a couple, their characters, but even if they didn't, I would be okay with it because their dynamic,
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'd be
platonic,
totally fine with
romantic,
it.
it's literally so great that it wouldn't even matter,
Yeah.
honestly. It really
No.
wouldn't.
Yeah. Because
So,
I've been on board with them before anyone even saw the rookie sets, just because of Kevin posting that one Instagram story when he was like, my partner in crime. And I was like, oh yeah, I was hoping they'd work together.
so like how you are with Brensen is how I am with Thorson and Celina. I mean, like, obviously love Brensen too, but like,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
fair.
I'm just like, I'm on board.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
I don't even care. Like, just give me them.
Yeah,
And we've had more screen time with Brensen than we've ever had with Thorson and Celina. And I'm just like,
yeah.
I see the vision.
I
After only
feel
one
like we're
episode,
gonna
I
get
see it.
more though, just because they've
Yeah.
had that interaction now.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Like
hard to come
we
back.
need Aaron and Celina to be like involved in a case or something, or like in some type of
Yeah.
situation.
Or
Yeah.
like somehow combine social media and uh
Astrology.
yeah, and the zodiac signs.
Yes.
I don't know how, but somehow.
They put out like a big three for the station.
Oh my God. Oh dear. Yeah,
I love it. I
that'd be
need it.
funny. Yeah, I don't know. Just something. Some
Yeah.
kind of like, you know. Well, are they Gen Z or are they millennial? They're millennial, right? Yeah. Or
Yeah.
no, are
I
they
was
Gen
gonna
Z? I
say
don't know.
I think that they're Gen Z, but I don't think so. I mean, I would think that you would have to be like 18 or whatever to be a police officer, but I feel like they're
Yeah.
older. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we'll go. Well, anyway, they're a part of,
They're millennial. I'm going
yeah,
with it because some
I would
Gen
think
Zers
so.
I'm not a fan of. So, yeah.
I would think so. I mean,
Yeah.
but they're still, they got the technology aspect, and so I feel like that could possibly be a way
Yeah.
somehow that they combine their interests and have them work together. Don't know. Speaking of other things, though, I still need to know what happened on the skydiving trip with Laura and Brendan, though. Can we just talk about
Same.
that for a second? Because
Yeah.
I need to know. I need to know if she went on it. I need to
Yeah.
know if he bugged her about it until she went on it, considering he gave her the tickets. So he's probably like, I paid for these. We're going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just need a full like recap on what Brenson's been like up to when they're not at work. Like, are they hanging out outside of
Yeah.
work too? I need a full recap.
Hmm.
It'll never come, but I need it.
Yeah. I want them to have like more scenes together, so then there can be like more of those like 30-second fan edits or whatever that people do, because
Yeah.
like that would be fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And so that was kind of it with Brendan and Antoinette and Brendan and Antoinette / Brensen.
Yes.
And so we had a little bit of, where the crossover aspect of this episode came in, which was with John Nolan and the remodel. Can I just say, though, first of all, that like all the comments on Simone and John possibly like dating or being all flirty were hilarious, but also I was like, good God, there's only so much we can take.
Yeah.
She said if he wasn't dating
That cute firefighter.
a cute firefighter, that she would let him date her. And
Mhm.
in his response, he might let her let him. Yeah.
I was
And I
like,
was,
what?
Yes. Why?
I was like, I feel like I'm kind of too pure to like be watching this right now.
And then he was awkward about it after he said it, and I was like, John, you're the one that said it. Just be like cool about it.
Yeah.
But he wasn't cool about it.
But also, like, last episode we had Jenny and Nolan, like they were hinting.
Oh my God, that's
they weren't
right.
necessarily hinting at it, but like
But
we were
people
picking
like,
up on
on
it, and I was
board,
like,
yeah.
no. Bailey needs to come back and remind
No, I
John that
know.
like he's got not only a girlfriend, but aren't they engaged at this point?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So like,
Fiancés.
where's Bailey? Like,
Yeah. Well, she
girlie,
comes
where-
back in the next week's episode.
Yeah.
But they looked like they were having a serious conversation. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't a happy thing. And I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
is this the end of
And there was he had like a brochure or something about like selling his house or like selling a house.
looking at something like that. Yeah.
I don't know. I just I don't know. Simone's flirty with everyone, so I didn't really think much of it. But then like Cuddy came in and I was just like, yeah, no. Like, no. It would be different if John and Bailey weren't engaged, but they're like literally engaged. Like, no. I think it's just like in her nature though, but I'm like, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, it would just to me be very weird. Like if the show's two leads like got together. I don't know. I just don't really want Simone and John. I don't know.
Yeah, I just feel like they should keep it as their, Simone's flirty personality and then John's semi-awkward responses.
Yeah.
And just have it be
I feel like
there.
that's the better dynamic for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
yeah. But Simone is wanting to make updates to her dad's house, and so that's why she enlists Nolan to help with the kind of putting ideas together and kind of making the vision happen, since he used to work construction. And so Simone is doing all of this though without asking her dad, which is a big yikes. Because obviously this is causing problems later on in the episode when John kind of shows up unannounced to Cuddy's house, and John is there to help Simone, but Cuddy's like, I don't know why on earth this man is here.
Yeah.
Like he was so confused. And so Simone had tried to explain the reasons why one, why John was there, but then also two, like what they were doing and why she was doing it. But he was upset by her wanting to change everything in his house when her stay was supposed to be temporary. And so, I mean, he had a point in a way, because it is his house. It's like it's his space. But I mean, it was nice that towards the end of the episode he apologized, and he even invited John back over to because he does want Simone to be comfortable while she's there, regardless of how long that stay is. So so we got a little bit of that. John was like just the awkward third person in the conversation.
It was odd. But I mean, I agree with Cuddy, like she should have told him, but I also
Yeah.
agree with Simone as like she's staying there, like it needs to be comfortable for her. But also I would think like, okay, she's working for the FBI. Yes, she won't be home all the time, or like, she's gonna be working long hours. Like she doesn't necessarily need a place when it's just her, but like at some point she would want to move out, right? And like, she's making like good money being a Fed, I would think at least.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and then like with her dating life and stuff, if things
yeah,
start to get serious with someone, then obviously I would think she would want her own, space to
yeah.
have that relationship.
And like Cuddy's made it
be.
clear too that like he doesn't like that she's a Fed and she
Yeah.
lives in his house. So I'm like, so why are you like wanting to build out the garage here? Like,
Yeah, I know that poor garage. I was like, the poor garage is just having all of their issues taken out
yeah.
on it.
Like, why are you wanting to make it like a full-time thing? But then I also, agree that like he's not going to be around for a while and like the house should go to her
Yeah.
if something were to happen. So, yeah.
I guess that's kind of a similarity that they had, like thinking about the future in a sense of
Yeah.
mortality, which is morbid and I don't like it, but I mean,
Same.
it's a fair conversation, I guess,
Yeah.
to have. Whether that be with homes or with, children, as it was in the Rafine. And so next we are moving on to the last topic, which was the thing, well, at least I was most anxious about because
Same.
I seriously didn't know what they were going to do about Garza.
I didn't think that they were gonna do anything major, like kill him off, but then I was
I
also
did because
like,
I didn't see
you never
Felix
know.
at all in the behind the scenes thing, so they were good at hiding him.
Yeah, but I also feel like the rookie has been good with hiding stuff, like the rookie and the
That's
rookie
fair.
Feds, especially Feds. I feel like they don't post as much behind the scenes, but like,
That's fair.
I don't know. I didn't think that they were gonna do anything to him, but then I was also like, well, I wouldn't put it past them. Like, it is the mid-season finale and it is season 1.
I mean, I guess I
So,
just didn't like. I guess I wasn't thinking he would be, killed off, but I was just surprised that we got to see his whole
like arc.
like like the whole progression of everything in one episode, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and like right away, like from the jump, when they came back, or well, when it went from the rookie ending in the Feds. Yeah, and so, oh well, in the fact though that I had posted it was from our Shop Talk account, that random behind the scenes video that Britt had shared, like working with Kevin or whatever, and it was like literally him delivering that line of dialogue about Carter and Antoinette. And it literally, she managed to go right over Felix and right on to Kevin. And I was like, dude, the guy is like in the wheelchair right there. Because they were starting to push him out or whatever in that one scene. And then Elena like grabbed the chair and, went speeding down out of the hospital.
I love how before that Garza was like, I want all the hot goss. Like, who's Antoinette dating? I was like, I love this. I need more Garza and Brensen together, please.
Yeah, it was so good. Yeah, but sorry, got ahead of myself a little bit there with that. Anyways, obviously Garza's doing okay. Well, from the first update we get from Elena to Laura on the phone. But there were complications with like a removal of the first stent that he had, like originally before they put in the new one. So he had to go back into surgery. So, and Elena was obviously worried about her uncle and was staying at the hospital to wait for him to come out of surgery. So she was in the episode, just not in the work capacity.
Yeah.
And so later on, they're still waiting to hear for a little bit. And then it was like after they came back from a commercial break, we get a close-up of who turns out to be Garza coming out of the anesthesia, or coming off of the anesthesia from the surgery. And then I think I tweeted about it, like it was a not 211 parallel in the in a way, in the near death sense.
Yeah.
But just the fact that they did the close-up of the one side of their face and the focusing on the eyes and everything was interesting. And so he's okay and he's going to make a full recovery. Obviously, he's okay enough to miraculously hop out of the bed and hit a guy clean over the head with the bottom of the IV drip to go
Which
save
was such a
Simone.
boss move, honestly.
Yeah, so good. I mean, like, the man literally just wanted some water.
Yeah. And he was like, let me just take this guy out with my IV like bag hook thing.
Yeah. Because he'd gotten thirsty after even like Simone had come in to just like ask advice about, the whole Cuddy situation. And he was like, I just want some water. Like, where's and she's like, well, I can go get it. And then that's when she gets into trouble with the nurse that's not, no one there, not an actual doctor, a nurse there.
Yeah.
And so it was just so funny though, because he was just like, yeah, I had to be a part of the action. Like he just could not sit still.
Yeah.
At all. And towards the end of the episode for Matt, we got what I consider to be a nice little parallel to the Rookie 102, because like when Tim didn't want to take the wheelchair out, like neither does Garza. Neither of them.
Yeah.
They are both too stubborn to ride out in wheelchairs, even though, Elena makes it work. If only by lovingly threatening the wrath of Garza's sisters on him. And then just wheels him out like nobody's business. Like she's like, okay, we're going, bye-bye.
And she like wheels him out kind of quick. Like, yeah. I love their relationship and their dynamic.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, that was kind of it for Feds, because they were kind of, I mean, yes, they had their own case, but it was still kind of, connected to the Rookie. And so
yeah.
I mean, but yeah, it was still good in terms of like, I feel like it was paced nicely.
Yes.
I guess is what I liked about it. Although poor Brendan though, I still just can't get over the fact that he had work trouble and love life trouble in the same,
I know,
like same swing.
Did not like that for him.
I mean, I don't know, did we have any other thoughts, or are we just getting into listener thoughts now?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. It would be nice to kind of see them like switch up partnerships a little bit more. Like, I get it that like Carter is Simone's, field training officer and stuff and training agent, but seeing like the Carter and Brendan stuff, I mean, as much as like it kind of annoyed me with like Carter getting after him and everything, it would be interesting to see how they get along, and like same with Laura,
especially if something were to happen with Antoinette and Carter, then it'd be so awkward.
I mean, I wouldn't want to see them like duke it out, but like it would be so interesting to see the dynamic, especially because Brendan knows and Carter doesn't know that he knows. And Carter doesn't know that he was like going after Antoinette or anything. So but I mean, we've seen it before, kind of. It was more so just like Laura and Simone, but it would be interesting to see like the two dynamics or the two partnerships kind of switch it up. But I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe they could do like like the Rookie episode, The Switch, where they all like switch TOs.
Yeah.
I would love that. Let's make that happen. There's still time. For that. They're only filming episode 17, so there's still time to put it in the back half of the season. That's fine. Fair. Yeah.
I don't know. I just, because I mean, while we did get a good Simone and Brendan like BFF moment, I mean, at the end anyway, more so when he was apologizing, I want to see them work together a little bit more too.
Yes.
So
yeah, I feel like
a switch of some kind.
Because I feel like they're always kind of separated. Like they're into their two little groups, and that's that. Because they're usually out like chasing down leads or whatever. But
well, and we haven't seen them
working together,
like in their personal life. Like when they hung out by the food truck and the pilot, like we haven't seen that. So
yeah, I would like to see like a switch of the training agents, but I would also like to see kind of like letting the Rookie agents kind of take a day where they're like on their own. Kind of like a plainclothes day in a way.
Hmm.
Yeah. But because I mean they had those big binders, like those
That's
didn't
true. They
come
did their
back.
checklist. Yeah.
So I'm sure that that's part of those binders.
Oh
Is
my
like
God. I could
that
just
being in
see it
there.
now. Simone is like driving however she wants to drive. And Carter just has to sit there and like is
Yeah.
like fear for his
Yeah.
life. Like he's like, I'm not going to survive this day. And
Yeah.
then I could see Brendan not liking the silence, and so he's gonna fill it up with any kind of chatter that he can.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Like John did.
That'd be funny. Yeah, in a
Yeah.
way.
But not as annoying because we
No.
love Brendan.
Yeah,
Not that
he's
we
the
don't like John,
best.
but
Like,
yeah.
just look at him. Like, how can you not
Yeah.
like him?
I could also see Brendan and Simone driving, but like Simone's driving again, driving however she wants, and Brendan's just like holding on for dear life, and he's like, oh my God, he's just like silently just talking himself off the ledge.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
or I could see him trying to come up with something else to think of, and he's like, he just goes back to sink puppies, even though it's not about
Yes.
blood. He's just like, oh God, I have to think of something happy. Sink puppies.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could see that happening too. Yeah. So see, now we have ideas. We have
Yeah.
ideas for sure.
Yeah, I know like Eric's tweet, he was like, let's get that season 6 renewal or whatever. And I'm like, let's go. Like, give us
Yeah.
that news right now.
Season 6
Please.
renewal and then season 2 renewal for Fed
Yes.
would be
Yes.
lovely. I'd be like the happiest person alive, honestly.
Same.
I mean, like, because the rookie, I feel like is a pretty sure thing, but like for Feds to get another go.
Yeah.
would
Yeah,
be
because I
really
mean,
good
like,
too.
it's not, I mean, usually it works out that like sequels of whatever, like, the show or like just kind of spin-off shows,
Mhm.
like do good and they still get picked
Yeah.
up, but it's not always a sure thing.
I mean, I was
So,
gonna say because it didn't happen with Chicago Justice. I mean, they lasted
no.
one season and
And they
then
had
they
3
were,
other shows that they were coming in after.
yeah.
So, yeah, but
But still, I mean, I guess
yeah,
not the exact same, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
yeah, yeah. So,
So anyway, we'll move on to listener thoughts now.
we just have a couple for rookie feds. I
That's
feel
fair.
like fans are still like finding them. So,
Mhm. That's fair.
yeah, so Riley had said the rookie feds really tugged at my heartstrings. I was so hoping that the UC agent wouldn't die, and poor Nolan getting caught in the middle of Simone and her dad's argument was hilarious. Would definitely watch the episode again.
Yes. Just like, because John kind of had his default expression on a little
Yes.
bit, like wide eyes, and just because he didn't know what to say. Because he was like,
Mhm.
I'm just here to do this one thing, not get in the middle of all of this stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I agree. I was not expecting them to use the like sad music,
I
having the
know.
agent die and everything, and I was like, dang it. They're
Well,
making
we had
me
seen like
emotional.
Brendan kind of like crouching down and kind of saw like blood on his sleeve, like in the
Yeah.
trailer, in the promo.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't think much of it.
No, I just thought somehow he like was the one that
Yeah.
tackled the, the
Yeah.
crazy people.
So,
Yeah.
it hurt.
hmm
And just like knowing that, like knowing what was coming and like seeing Brendan, like, kind of hit the fence and just, I was like, oh, this is not going to be good. Oh man, this hurts.
hmm
But then
Yeah.
like Laura kind of pushing him off from like, going after the guy. It was great.
hmm Yeah. Mindy had said Feds was good too. Brendan definitely needed a hug. From having an agent die in his arms to seeing Carter and Antoinette. Mindy said, I really think there's a platonic explanation for the two of them. But Laura was right there to support him. Yeah. I'm hoping there's a platonic explanation because it kind of
Yeah.
just came out of left field.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. Mindy said Carter was so good, but that last scene with Tracy was so sad. Yeah, because poor Carter, he's gotten like passed up time and time again. for work things. And so that, yeah. I mean, it was kind of nice though, because Tracy was actually being somewhat tolerable in that scene too.
Yeah,
So
she was.
so I was good at that for sure.
I thought she was gonna bring up like, oh, this could have been you or whatever. And like she kind of
Yeah,
did.
in a way, but
yeah.
it wasn't as much of like a backhanded remarks as she gives Garza.
Yeah.
So yeah. Mindy had also said, so glad Garza is okay. I loved worried Elena, and we need to meet those sisters. Yes, bring
Yes.
Garza's family. So great. Some
I
kind of
don't even need
another
all of the
holiday.
sisters. Just
I
give
would
me
like
one.
I would like all of them though, because it took forever for us to finally meet
Angela's
Angela's
brothers.
brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would want like another holiday episode or something where, Elena like surprises Garza with
Yeah.
sisters, and it's like, okay, we're all gonna celebrate together.
Yes.
But yeah.
Thomas had said, I hope that the Carter and Antoinette thing is platonic. The rookie is so good because there's no love competition within the unit. Just having Brendan and Antoinette date would be much more stable and healthy, in my opinion. Carter and Antoinette feel really weird. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
yes,
that is why the rookie is so good. It's because there is no like a love competition or like, oh, like she's got the girl that I like or anything, or
that's
he's got the
true.
girl that I like or anything. So
Everyone
yeah.
kind of has their own person.
Uh-huh. And like Nyla and Angela, and I mean even John, like they're all not even with the LAPD. Like they're all outside. Like they have relationships outside. That is the most realistic thing, because you wouldn't always like the people that you work with aren't all like hooking up together. Like they probably have outside relationships. So yeah. I don't the rookie is definitely like the more realistic one with relationships. I feel like thinking about other shows, like a lot of them just date within the unit or whatever, and it's like I get it, it's because they're working those 10 to 12-hour days and like they don't have much time outside of work,
like Grace said, in a way.
Huh?
I said like Grace said, in a way.
Yeah,
they spend 12-hour days together.
But I mean, yes, it is a little realistic that they would date, especially because like that can happen, but like yeah, I like how the rookie doesn't have a huge emphasis on that. So yeah.
Yep.
But that's it for listener thoughts for the rookie feds. We don't have any other notes on like the rookie, so we're feds.
Yep. So we're good.
They were good episodes though. I mean, they were good. It was a good, solid way to come back from a winter hiatus for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know I was texting one of my friends and we were like, this is how you do an episode coming back from a hiatus. Like the rookie overall has just been really solid this season. And I'm not just saying that because of Chenford. I feel like all of the storylines have been solid. All of the characters and like where they're going has been solid. So yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So you guys can find us on Twitter at the Shop Talk Pod _ or email us at shoptalktherookiepodcast@gmail.com with all of your thoughts. And we're obviously on Twitter, guys. We tweet so much. Well, I do anyway. I'm at Kari Hyman and Jennifer.
I'm at JStark804.
And we're also on TikTok. You guys probably saw the video that we posted today, hopefully, on Twitter. That was fun. So we often post, well, I shouldn't say we, because again, Jennifer is behind all of that. She'll just send me things to like approve. Like
I literally was working on one last night. I was working on two actually, like one during the rookie, and I was like, I'm trying to finish this one so that I can post it, and then TikTok crashed, and so Yeah. Yep.
And if you guys liked this episode and like Shop Talk, we'd appreciate it if you left us a rating and review. It really helps out the podcast and it helps other fans find us as well.
Yes.
And next week we will be back with a new episode covering 511 of the rookie and 111 of the rookie feds.
Yeah.
So that's it for us, I guess. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Go get him, boo.